everyone, welcome again to our math tutorial. For quarter 3, week 8, we will be focusing now on the application of perpendicular lines and angle bisectors on triangle congruence. So just sit back and relax. Let's get started. Let's review first the definition of angle bisector. So an angle bisector is a line or a ray that divides an angle into two congruent angles. A perpendicular bisector can be defined as a line segment which intersects another line perpendicularly and divides it into two equal parts. Two lines are said to be perpendicular to each other when they intersect in such a way that they form 90 degrees with each other. Now this time, kindly prepare your SLKs because I will be explaining the activities found in your SLK. That's activity 1, 2, and 3. Activity number 1. If segment AB bisects angle CAD, name the two congruent angles. So we have here angle CAD, and then segment AB bisects the whole angle. Now when we talk about the word bisect, meaning it divides the angle equally. So therefore, angle CAB and angle DAB are the two congruent angles. Number 2. Segment ST bisects angle RSU. If measure angle RST equals 35 degrees, what is the measure of angle RSU? So we have here the figure. Angle RSU is being bisected by segment ST. So if this angle is 35, this angle is also 35 degrees. So the measure of angle RSU is 70 degrees. Angle BFD and angle CFE are right angles. So this one, BFD, this is a right angle. And then CFE, this is also another right angle. Now if FD, this one, FD bisects CFE. So therefore, these two angles have the same measure. Now before we solve what is asked in the problem, let's try to identify first the measure of each small angles. So since CFE is a right angle and it is bisected by segment FD, we can say that these two angles are both 45 degrees. And since BFD is also a right angle and this is 45, therefore this is also 45. Once we see a straight line, the sum of these four angles is equal to 180 degrees. So if these three added and subtracted to 180, this will also give this one 45 degrees. So we can now answer what is asked in the problem. Find measure angle DFE. DFE. So this is 45 degrees. Angle AFC. AFC. 45 plus 45. That's 90 degrees. Next, measure angle BFD. So that's also 90 degrees. Okay, that's a right angle. Then we have measure angle CFE. That's also 90 degrees. And then we have angle AFD. So we have 45 plus 45. That's 90 plus another 45. That is 135 degrees. AFD. Activity number 2. Find the measure of the following angles. Now, in a triangle, you have to remember that if two sides are congruent, the angles opposite these two sides are also congruent. So let's try this one. So you have noticed here that these two sides are congruent based on the markings. Opposite this side is 42 degrees. Therefore, the angle opposite this side will also give us a measure of 42 degrees. To solve for angle 2, you have to remember again that the interior angles of a triangle, when you add it, is always equal to 180. So if we're going to get the measure of angle 2, we have here 180 minus 42 plus 42. And then we have 180 minus 84. So that gives us 96. Therefore, this angle 2 measures 96 degrees. Let's have the next figure. So we have here angle 3 and angle 4 are both opposite the congruent sides. So meaning these two angles have the same measure. Let's say both of them measures x degrees. So we add x plus another x plus 56. That gives us 180 degrees. So we add it, we have 2x plus 56 equals 180 degrees. So using the subtraction property of equality, we have there 2x equals 180 minus 56. So 180 minus 56, that will give us, this is 4, 7, that's 124. Then copy 2x. Then using the division property of equality, so we divide both sides by 2. So the value of x is 62. So therefore, since we assume that angle 3 and angle 4 are both x, so angle 3 is 62 degrees and angle 4 is also 62 degrees. So we have here the two sides are congruent. So therefore, the opposite angles are also congruent. Before we solve for number 5 and number 6, we have to get first the measure of this angle. Now, since these two form a linear pair, automatic, they are both supplementary. So when we say supplementary angles, when you add them, their sum is 180. So if this is 125, this will give us 55 degrees. Now, since these two angles are congruent, number 5 is also 55 degrees. To solve for angle 6, so we have to add the 255, subtract it from 180. 55 plus 55 is 110. So 180 minus 110, that gives us 70. Therefore, the measure of this angle is 70 degrees. Let's have this figure. So we have here given 2x degrees and x degrees. This is number 7 and this is number 8. Now, since these two sides are congruent, so this angle, which is 2x degree, and the number 7 are congruent. So before we can get the values of x, we have to know that if this is 2x, number 7 is also 2x. So we have this solution, 2x, and then number 7, which is also 2x, plus x in the number 8 equals 180. For activity number 2. So we have here a right triangle. So we are going to solve for number 9 and number 10. These two sides are congruent. So number 9 and this angle are also congruent. Now, since it's 90 degree angle, so this is a right triangle, therefore, this is 45 degrees. And this is also 45 degrees. Now, how to solve for number 10? Now, since these two are forming a linear pair, so they are supplementary, therefore, if you add this angle and number 10, that gives us 180. So 180 minus 45 degrees, that will give us 135 degrees. Activity number 3. Find the measures of the following angles. So we have here the given, ray AB and ray BD are perpendicular. So therefore, they form a right angle. Then angle 1 measures 32 degrees. So we are going to find the measure of angle ABC. So this angle. Now since this is a right angle, so 90 minus 32, that gives us 58. Next figure. Number 2. So we have there ray EF bisects angle DEG. So meaning these two angles are congruent because it is bisected by ray EF. At the same time, DE is perpendicular to EG. So they form a right angle. So what is the measure of FEG? FEG. So since that's 90, and these two small angles are congruent, so we divide 90 by 2. So each angle is 45 degrees. So therefore, measure angle FEG is equal to 45 degrees. Okay, last figure we have here. BD is a perpendicular bisector of segment AC. So meaning, this segment is perpendicular to AC at the same time is bisecting angle B. So we have there, measure angle A is 65. So if this is 65 degrees, this is 90 degrees. So if we add them and subtract it from 180, this will give us 25. Now since it's bisected by this segment, so if this is 25, this is also 25. So we are to solve for angle ABC. So we add both. That gives us 50 degrees. Good job! We are done with all the lessons in the third quarter. Thank you for listening. And once again, this is Bunyasa Kapa, your math teacher. Have a nice day. See you next quarter.